Mic check, mic check.
The mics are checked.
The mics are checked. All right. All right. You could have said that. You're leaving our listeners waiting. Hi, everybody. It's your favorite weird news reporters, Kyle and Danny, back at it again with a shortened format again. We think that worked pretty well last time.
Yeah, it's because Kyle doesn't bring anything to the show, so cut his own stuff out.
Yeah. You cut out all of my segments. So
no. I've gotten a good response from the shortened episode.
Oh, really? Says who?
Me.
What listeners listened to both and said that the shortened one was better?
Well, we had one comment on it that said they prefer the longer.
Oh, who said it?
Nick.
Oh man, see, Nick, thank you for respecting my craft. Thank you very much.
It's like, where's the celebrity news?
Where's the celebrity news?
That's what he said.
Oh man.
All right, start the timer.
Oh yeah, got the timer for 30 minutes, and if I don't want to hear you anymore on a topic, I'm just gonna shoo you away. Be like next.
Yes, please.
All right,
please.
Timer.
So
started.
I'm a rambler. I'll just keep going and never stop talking.
Like the Energizer Bunny, if the Energizer Bunny was a rambler.
It just talks nonstop. All right, here we go.
Yep, here we go. Off to the races.
First article of weird news for this week.
Lay it on me.
So, Rolling Stone came out with an article.
Uh-huh.
The dumbest guy in Congress asks U.S. Forest Service if it can change Moon's orbit.
Wait, he just asked if we can change the moon from here. Why would he ask that, first of all?
Republican Louis Gohmert, who admitted it. I can't talk today.
I don't understand why you can't. It never seems to be a problem for you in the past.
It's never a problem. I'm the best at reading. Louis Gohmert, who admitted recently that some consider him the dumbest guy in Congress.
So he's well aware of his reputation. He's not trying to fool anybody. Not even himself.
Appears intent on proving those people right.
I'll show them just how dumb I can be. I'm gonna ask them about the moon.
Well, if he's trying to mislead people now and make them think he's dumb,
and then come out as being really smart.
Like he's
saying
actually Einstein in a mask.
I thought you were just gonna say like he comes out with like a mediocre, nice little fact. And like people are like, oh wow, he's actually really smart because the stuff he usually says is just really stupid.
Oh yeah, it's all perception.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. On Tuesday, the congressman asked a representative of the U.S. Forest Service, tasked with managing America's national forests and grasslands, if the agency might consider branching out, so to speak. In quotes, I understand from what's been testified to the Forest Service and you want very much to work on the issue of climate change. I was informed by the past director of NASA that they found the moon's orbit is changing slightly, and so is the Earth's orbit around the sun. We know there's been significant solar flare activity, so is there anything that the National Forest Service can do to change the course of the moon's orbit or the Earth's orbit around the sun?
Of all the departments, the Forest Service? Some ranger in a Jeep. Just to be like, yeah, we know exactly what to do with this. Thanks for asking.
He inquired. Obviously, that would have profound effects on our climate.
I'm like wondering what in his head did he have these ideas that like, oh yeah, they can probably do this.
So he heard something and just misinterpreted it apparently. So it's true that the moon is currently drifting away from Earth at rates of roughly 3.8 centimeters per year. a speed that has fluctuated for the last 4.5 billion years or so. That's the writer of this article. And though Gomer didn't say it outright, it's also true that the speed of lunar retreat, as scientists call the phenomenon, has at least coincided with major changes to the Earth's climate, like the melting of the glaciers. But it's the changes to the Earth's climate that cause fluctuations in the rate of lunar retreat, rather than lunar retreat causing fluctuations in the Earth's climate. Which is another way of saying, if the Forest Service's efforts are at combating climate change were so wildly successful that they managed to stop the melting of Earth's glaciers in its tracks, those efforts could theoretically have an impact on the moon's orbit, is what he's trying to say.
Huh. So...
And the person they're, what's it called when testifying, I guess? Her name, Jennifer Eberlein, Associate Deputy Chief for the National Forest System, did her best to humor Gomer's inquiry, very nearly keeping a straight face as she answered. I would have to follow up with you on that one, Mr. Gomer.
Like, she went into this whole thing, this meeting, very skeptical as to how dumb this guy was. And she's like, my gosh, they were right.
Yeah, her suspicions were confirmed.
Her doubts were eliminated.
The dumbest guy in Congress is...
Like, how... Like, I mean, obviously if he was that dumb, he wouldn't be reelected. So he must have made a pretty quick reputation for himself.
I mean... What can he do about it? The people voted for him.
It's like, I guess I'm here. You didn't even mean to run.
Yeah. They did it all as a joke because they thought he was super dumb.
There's no way this idiot will make it into Congress.
Everybody wrote in his name. He's the village idiot.
Oh, gosh. Okay, so a guy asking about moving or changing the moon's orbit.
But specifically asking the Forest Service.
Right, this Forest Service. Of all departments to ask.
And I'll end with this quote. Yeah, well, if you figure out a way that you, in the Forest Service, can make that change, I'd like to know. So...
So he's waiting.
He's never going to get an answer to that.
He's like, please don't hesitate to call me or email me. I'll be eagerly waiting your response.
Everybody's laughing at him. He's none the wiser, though.
Like, everybody in the room. It's just like a chorus of laughter. And he's just like, thank you very much. He doesn't even realize it. It's probably just, par for the course with him and all of the stuff that comes out of his mouth.
Is he aware, well, I guess he is aware that he is the dumbest guy, because...
Yeah, it said that he was aware of his nickname or whatever. His title, if you will.
Yeah. He just wants to prove the haters wrong. He's just trying to sound smart.
He's like, the moon. Smart people deal with the moon. Let me bounce this one off of them.
It was kind of hard to read his quotes because they kept pausing, and I don't know.
Oh.
He seemed to stumble a little bit.
The doctor from Transmorphers.
Oh my god.
All
right. Time to move on.
Okay, yeah, let's go. Hello,
Fast.
We're waiting.
Calm down. Can you have an inkling of patience here?
No.
An ounce.
We want the weird news and we want it now.
People are about to riot. Fast food staff arrested for not giving police free burgers.
What? They were arrested for not giving free burgers? Alright, this has got to be something like they were... Like, it was like a day of free law enforcement food, and like the staff must not like police or something. That's my guess.
How entitled did they have to be? I mean, to arrest them for not getting burgers?
You will give me these burgers.
They live by different rules than the normal person. They get free stuff all the time, apparently. So
let's hear it. Let's hear this.
All 19 workers at a fast food restaurant in Pakistan were detained after refusing to
I
give.
thought this was a U.S. thing, so I was like, oh my gosh. But all right, so in Pakistan,
Were detained after refusing to give a group of police officers free burgers last week.
like even the janitor cleaning the floor is arrested. You're part of
Apparently
the
so.
staff.
Staff at the chain, Johnny and Jugnu in Lahore, were rounded up at, I don't know what time zone this is,
Okay.
um, on Saturday and held overnight. This is not the first time something like this has happened at our restaurant, a statement by the burger chain said.
We've had all of our employees arrested by police several different times.
It's a war against this fast food chain. It's an inquisition. All right. 9 police officers involved in the incident have now been suspended. Senior provincial, right? Is it provincial or provincial?
I don't know.
Provincial? Like a province?
Provincial.
Provincial. See, we're learning. Senior provincial police officer Inam Ghani announced the suspensions on Twitter, saying, "No one is allowed to take the law into his own hands. Injustice will not be tolerated. All of them will be punished."
At first, I thought you said, "and justice will not be tolerated."
I mean, at this rate.
Injustice. Yeah, at this rate. Injustice will not be tolerated. Wow.
All over the free burgers. In a statement posted on Facebook, Johnny and Jugnu said a group of police officers had gone to the restaurant 2 days before the incident and asked for free burgers. Upon rejecting their request for free burgers, which has become a common practice for them, the police officers threatened our managers and left, only to return the next day to further harass and pressurize our teams with baseless arguments. So they kept coming back and asking.
And then had baseless, as they say, arguments. And I wonder what they were saying. Like, no, I'm a police officer. You need to give me this for free.
This really ticked them off. It wasn't the fact they weren't getting the burgers, it's the fact they weren't giving it to them.
Right.
They weren't hungry. They just wanted the authority of getting the burgers.
Maybe they were hungry. Who's to say?
They were just starving. I'm so hungry. Give me the burgers, damn it. I don't have $5 on me. Give me the burgers.
You know, maybe they were that hungry and that's why they needed a Snickers. You know, the ad placement, Snickers.
Even though we're giving this fast food chain the advertisement.
Yeah.
On June 11th, it said some police officers came to our outlet and took our manager into custody without giving any reason whatsoever.
Can you imagine you just working there and the cops just come on in, arrest the manager without saying anything?
Then they empty out our entire branch, taking all of our kitchen crew, including the rest of the managers. The restaurant also said that staff were not allowed to close down the kitchen, leaving fryers still running, customers waiting for their orders, just mass chaos.
So, like, people are in line, like, mid-order, and they take the cashier away. He's like, did you change that to a medium? I saw a large.
The customers never leave. They're just standing there forever.
Just waiting around, kind of like looking over. You know?
Man, the service at this place sucks.
Been waiting for hours.
There's clearly nobody in there.
So the lights are still on because they weren't able to shut down.
That could like burn down the place though if they left
Yeah.
everything on, right?
I'm pretty sure it's some type of fire hazard.
The workers were detained for 7 hours and said the officers were harassing them, pushing them around, all for not giving them free burgers.
Wow. Give me a burger. Come on.
Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan has previously called for a reform of the Punjab region's police force, saying local politicians had appointed cronies to run police stations. So yeah, that's it for that one.
That's a first for me to hear of. An entire workplace being arrested because of not giving something for free.
I have some related news. Woman dies after security guard pretending to be doctor performs surgery at Pakistan hospital.
What? That's not even funny. That's pretty terrible.
I don't know what's going on in Pakistan, man.
Burgers,
The
fry,
burgers too.
lying doctors who aren't
The
doctors.
person that it's not funny that the person died. It's just so ridiculous that they allowed him to do this.
Like he just walks into the operating room and nobody else from the operating staff was like, "We don't recognize you."
The imposter had previously conned several patients and also did home visits.
What?
An elderly woman has died after a family mistakenly hired a former security guard to perform surgery on her in one of Pakistan's biggest government hospitals, police said on Monday. Shamima Begum, 80, died 2 weeks after the alleged imposter, Muhammad Wahid Butt, spelled Butt, performed the surgery to treat a back wound in the operation theater of government-owned Mayo Hospital in Lahore. Oh my God, the same place too.
This place is wild.
There's just craziness there.
You just walk it off. It's just absolute chaos.
Monkeys running across the street, attacking people.
Yeah, with vials of COVID-19. You got
Okay, to be
fast
fair,
food
that was in
restaurants.
India.
All
Not
right,
Pakistan.
all right. Either way, then you've got the fast food workers being marched down the street. You got just these random security guards wearing fake doctors' clothes, doing procedures.
The family told local network GOTV that they took Begum to the hospital on May 17th, and she was referred to the surgical ward for surgery. It was then that the accused approached them, impersonating a doctor, and offered to help them. The family say they paid Mr. Butt for the surgery and two subsequent home visits for the mature home visits for the dressing of her wound.
Do you call him Mr. Butt or Dr. Butts?
They called me Mr. Butt.
They call me Mr. Butts.
I was making an Unbreakable reference.
Oh. They call me.
He did this as...
They call me Mr. Butts.
The kids called me Mr. Butt. That's why he did this.
That's his evil villain name. Mr. Butts.
But the wound continued to worsen and bleed. When the family raised alarm over her deteriorating condition, he asked them to return to the hospital. It was then they were told there was no doctor going by that name. I'm sorry, it's not funny that she died, but this ridiculous thing we cut up.
Like if you take out the part that she died, and you're like asking for a doctor. Yes, we're here to see Dr. Butts. I'm sorry, there's nobody here by that name.
There was no doctor going by that name, and that.
Oh man, I feel bad for laughing because of the sad
The
part
whole
of the
death
story.
thing, yeah.
Yes, that's not funny. Please, everybody understand that. But
We're not bad people. We're not laughing at
but the
that
guy's
part.
name is Butts.
and that Mr. Butt was previously employed there as a security guard. An administrative officer at Mayo Hospital told the AFP news agency, "We can't keep up with what every doctor and what everyone is doing at all times. This is a very large hospital." Well, you think you would still be able to keep track of your doctors?
Yeah,
right?
like, what, did this guy have the whole operating room to himself?
How did he sneak in?
I
He
don't
said
know.
that it is still unclear what type of surgery was performed.
How do they not know? Like, there's no way that these people had like legit paperwork and all the stuff that you have to do for surgery.
So apparently he was making money by going for home visits
Right.
to other patients. That's so crazy that he think he could just go and try to perform surgery on somebody.
Right. Like with how much knowledge you have to do anything with medicine or the medical field, and then you go in and you're gonna perform even a minor surgery is ridiculous, but
Oh,
that's wild.
the evil villain. They called me Mr. Buck.
They call me Mr. They call me Mr. Buns.
We just watched that movie too.
In case you guys don't know, it's Unbreakable with Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson.
Spoiler alerts, but
And Samuel L. Jackson's character goes by Mr. Glass. And in the one part of the movie, he says, like, as a kid, he's like, "Oh, the kids, they called me Mr. Glass."
that's like his motivation for doing evil things.
Well, is it though? No, not his motivation isn't because they called him Mr. Glass.
Well,
His motivation is because he knew that there was somebody out there on the other end of the spectrum from him.
well, that's part of it, though.
What? He wasn't like distraught that people called him Mr. Glass. It was just a nickname that he had.
I would say that gave him dramatic, like, motivation to do those kind of things.
No. I think he was a comic book fanatic, like a legit fanatic. And
Yeah.
he was crazy. He did all that because
Yeah.
he was like, all right, I'm on one end of the spectrum, and I need to find the other end of the spectrum. So he did all those things to find that person. I don't think it was like, I have to do this because they called me Mr. Glass.
I think that's part of it, though, when you're made fun of that much.
I don't know. I didn't get that from him.
That's part of it.
How says, you know what? We'll ask the listeners.
Okay.
Everybody chime in.
I mean, it's
What you
not
think.
one or the other. I think it's all
Oh,
together.
no.
Anyways, we need to move on.
Next one. Yeah, we're at 20 minutes. Almost
Oh,
21
shit.
minutes.
Gator invades Florida post office.
It invades like it's on a mission. How does it get through the door? Was it like
I
an
don't know.
automatic door, I guess? Like it set off the sensor?
It snuck in. It did like the whole Mission Impossible music over it.
An alligator, like what's it gonna do? They can't climb.
Has to like navigate through the laser field and like,
While staying completely on the ground. On the
just
floor.
walks through under all the lasers.
Well, since it says invades, I don't think he was very sneaky. He sees it all and he just continues on. Tripping all the sensors, all the lasers, setting off all the alerts.
The music is still over it though. The Mission Impossible music.
Dun 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 dun. He's like not. He's just his tail swinging, hitting everything, creating a mess.
It's going super slow too. Like, oh my god, that's hilarious. All right.
It's like in the middle of the day, probably too.
No.
Oh no. Okay.
The Hernando County Sheriff's Office reported that the animal was roaming around the lobby in the early morning hours.
Oh.
This gator needs to say later to the post office.
Oh, nice try. Nice try at a joke.
A person visiting a post office in Florida reportedly walked into a startling sight: an alligator hanging out in the lobby.
Hanging out like a cigarette lit.
Again, this joins the turkey and what was it? The monkeys.
These animals are wild.
Apparently, the animal had simply walked in through the building's front doors and was hanging out.
Wow. Just hanging out with the mail.
So, it's much funnier to think of it as sneaking in and
Yes.
trying
As opposed to just him walking in and also why did it have to say invades?
You know how these articles go. They exaggerate way too much.
Way too much.
You just walk in and just sees this alligator just like sitting there.
Dude, that freaked me out. Like you walk in, like holy crap.
He just wants to get his mail though. I mean,
It's like, come on. Even the junk mail at this point. I just want something to
he's been
open.
waiting there for forever and he's fed up.
I was told that there was some mail for me. I don't even care if it's a Winn-Dixie deal ad.
Posted about the incident on Facebook, writing that it received reports of an alligator in the lobby of a local post office around 3:30 in the morning on Wednesday.
That's when the guy found him?
Yeah,
Why
apparently
is this guy
so.
at 3:30? What is it, a worker? Or is he just going to get his mail super early? That's a weird time.
I don't know. I do not know. The post included a photo of the gator, which appears to be a decently sized animal. According to a patron who was attempting to mail a package at the time, the gator was just roaming around the lobby.
Just roaming around, thinking he's still in Mission Impossible.
It's just a zoo in there. It's just craziness. Animals everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, apparently the post office has automatic double doors, which would have made entering the lobby possible for the gator.
Wow, he cracked the code. He knew
Yeah,
he did.
the Mission Impossible music, and the doors just open.
He'd been casing the building for a little while, watching to see how those doors work. He's like, I think I've got this. He just walks right up. It's open. Nobody's stopping him. Still Mission Impossible.
Oh my god. Anyways, moving on. So, I've just got some minor ones here. What do we have for time?
At time, we are at 25 minutes.
So, have you heard about these cicadas that are waking up?
Yeah, when I was in Ohio, they were all around.
Yeah, apparently it happens every 17 years.
Yep, every 17 years, and they come up for like 6 weeks, I think. And
Yeah, so they're wreaking havoc.
Wreaking havoc? Where?
A cicada-infested engine is to blame for Biden's press corps travel delays.
Wow.
A plane carrying them was about to take off, and the cicadas swarmed.
Then they swarmed.
They were evidently looking to hitch a ride to Europe with the press.
Wow.
They filled the plane's engines, causing mechanical issues that delayed takeoff. So yeah, that's the first part of the cicada news.
Right. I'm not surprised, just because, like, you know, I've heard, like, when people mow their lawns, they kind of fly around the mower a little bit.
Right.
So, all right, what's the rest of the cicada news?
A cicada was blamed for a single car crash in Cincinnati this week. Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, I think I'd heard of this one where, like, it flew into the window and, like, she veered off.
So, a bug flew through an open window, smacking the Cincinnati driver in the face.
It went up and intentionally hit him in the face.
That's what I thought of when I saw that. I was like, he actually smacked him.
Like with one leg.
Oh.
The guy goes, ah!
So the Cincinnati driver was hit in the face, causing them to crash into a utility pole, according to local police. No injuries, though, but totaled the car.
Wow.
Swarms of the flying insects even appeared as fuzziness, usually reserved for light rain or snow, on weather radar over the weekend. That's pretty crazy.
That is. That's insane, actually.
It's like the plague.
They're so loud.
I remember that in Chicago.
Yeah.
Cicadas.
Yeah.
So you might have heard about this one, but a guy was swallowed whole by a whale. Did you hear about that?
Oh, I did hear about
Yeah.
this one. And, like, people are trying to figure out if he's telling the truth or not.
Well, apparently the whale spit him right back out. I'm not going to
Yeah.
read the story, but I thought that was funny.
Yeah, I remember he, like, on the radio, they said that they played his, like, interview news clip or whatever, and he's like, yeah, it got all dark, and then I felt like its muscles, like, closing in on me, and then I saw a light, and, like, a bunch of white water rushing towards me, and then I was back out.
Huh.
And he's like, he turned around and he's like, the whale was like shaking its head or something. And then I guess swam away. I don't know. I was like, okay. I mean, I guess we can't discredit it, but it just seems very strange. Like
That'd be something weird to make up just for the fame of it, I guess.
Yeah, I got swallowed by a whale. I got swallowed by Moby Dick.
Well, what's the story in the Bible? The guy that got swallowed by the whale. I forgot his name.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Wow. We're really educated here. Okay.
Yeah. See, that was
so this is my last one.
Okay.
We'll end with a bit of heartwarming news.
Oh, good.
Toronto rallies to save tiny kitten who was born without a butthole.
Ew. What?
What's that ew?
Born without a butthole. I know just the guy to fix that. Dr. Butt.
No, Mr. Butt. They called him Mr. Butt.
That's what they should call the kitten.
This is like a horror movie or something. He's gonna come and try to attempt to perform surgery on the kitten.
Yeah. All right. So...
well, thankfully this kitten isn't in Pakistan. So.
Right.
No offense to people from Pakistan, but what is going on there? I don't know what's happening.
There's too many weird stories going on from over there, and we just need to know.
All right, a young kitten born with an incredibly rare birth defect make it a new lease on life thanks to the efforts of a Toronto rescue organization and cat lovers across the world. Dora, an adorable little tortoise shell, recently came into the care of Annex Cat Rescue at the tender age of just 8 weeks old. Unfortunately, Dora was diagnosed with an extremely rare birth defect and imperforate anus. In other words, she was born without a butthole. Dora had miraculously survived all 8 weeks of her life without ever having a bowel movement. Though, as the rescue writes, she did get in the litter box and try.
Oh.
So they sought to raise $6,500 for a complicated surgery to remove the painful and life-threatening amount of fecal matter built up in her colon, as well as to construct an anus, reroute her insides and sides, and repair an internal tear.
Jeez. It's quite seems like an extensive surgery for a kitten.
You know what I mean?
But hey.
They did it, though. They raised the money.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it was all successful?
Yeah.
Wow.
And she must receive 24-hour support at the moment. She still hasn't passed the stool and may need another surgery. They are trying to declog her, and the enemas aren't working. She is described as an adventurous and curious kitty known for a love of cuddles and gentle kisses. So, if you guys want to help out Dora, go to the Annex Rescue Center site, Annex Cat Rescue.
Wow.
And donate to the kitty without a butt.
Yeah. I mean, hey, she might need all the money you can afford to give. Who knows how many surgeries she'll need.
Yeah, that title caught my eye.
That was an interesting title. I mean...
So we had some themes today. We had butts. We had Pakistan.
Yeah. Well,
we had cicada news.
Yeah. We had an alligator. Mission Impossible. Maybe he's going to be the new Tom Cruise.
Oh, okay. That was my favorite from today. All right. What are we at?
We are at 32 minutes.
Okay, well, that's all we got today for the Greasy Monkey Show.
It is. Thank you for listening to us, mess around and bring you guys some, hopefully,
entertaining.
Fun,
You're just trying to entertain you.
And weird news, and maybe you guys got a few laughs out of it. So.
Yeah, and we're all on Spotify now, and I'm waiting for it to get uploaded to, like, Apple Podcasts and stuff, but.
Yeah, so look on Spotify or wherever you get your podcast.
Yeah, follow us there.
Wherever they say, wherever you listen to your podcast or wherever you find your podcasts.
And we're just gonna blow up now. We're gonna get 1 million subscribers.
Yeah, and if you guys like and subscribe now, maybe we'll remember you. Maybe we'll throw you some dough when we're rolling in it.
Oh, we know the OGs.
Yeah,
they're not getting any of our hard-earned money, but we know.
You never know. Maybe I'll slide them a Benjamin or two.
No way. You're under my contract. You're not giving anybody money.
Dang it.
All right,
I
well,
get a single Benjamin if that's the case. I can't give any out to you guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, you're getting pennies, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but they're shiny. So.
All right. Well, that
All
was a hoot.
It was a
We'll
hoot.
see you next week with more weird news. Your number one source, the Greasy Monkey Show.
Bye, guys.
See ya.